This is a food my great grandmother would cook when we were in the village, and it's so simple. It doesn't require a lot. Probably, driving the Akplɛ, but then this food is so cheap. Can you imagine? I made this thing with just 25 cedis. So let's say roughly $2.50. It's not even up to $2.50. So probably $2. So as I was doing this, the pepper fell in the water. So at this point, I was about to add the gari to the water. Yes, so this Akplɛ, we are cooking it with gari, not with the usual cassava dough. So at this point, you have to put the gari first, mix with the boiling water before you add the corn flour. This is how she's been making it, and it's so cheap. She doesn't add anything extra. There are different ways of making Fetri Toto, and I think there's also another way. I'm going to add the remaining of the gari and then mix it. Yes, as you guys are watching, I got the corn flour for 5 cedis or 7 cedis, I think. Yes, 5 cedis or 7 cedis, that's around 50 cents or 70 cents. Yes, and then the remaining ingredients like 50 cents, 20 cents, and yeah, that's all. The momoni, for instance. So at this point, you are going to be adding the corn flour and you're going to mix it this way, because if you don't do it this way, you're going to have lumps in it. Already I had lumps in it from the gari, so with this, driving it this way, it smoothens it out. It gives you a smooth consistency. But this is not going to be enough for me. This particular portion is not going to be enough for me, so I decided to add a little bit of flour so that I can add water later. It's not really advisable to add cold water, but then I know a way that I'm going to add it to it. So this is a way. If you don't know how to add cold water to your Akplɛ or banku, I think with banku it's normal. You can always add cold water, but then with Akplɛ, it's not really normal to be adding cold water whilst you're already cooking it. So I'm adding cold water. I'm going to add cold water to the pan, to the under the Akplɛ. So I'm not going to pour it on top of it. I'm just going to add it under, and then you cover it for a while. Let the water boil with the Akplɛ before you cook it. Yes, you don't just add cold water to Akplɛ and then start cooking it right away. Your Akplɛ is going to get bad. So at this point, whilst it's boiling, we are going to be cutting the tomatoes and the okra, and then the other ingredient that needs to go on fire. So we're just going to be using, so this is the momoni. This is a cured fish they cured it with salt and all that. So I'm going to add that amount to the okra, and then I left a small piece. So with a small piece, I'm going to be adding it to the other beef that I'm going to boil. Yes, later. So let me add onion. I later added garlic. Yes, I forgot that I had garlic, so I later added garlic to it. So when I was making this food, I really missed my great grandma a lot, because she would finish making this and she would start yelling my name, calling my name that I should come and eat. So at this point, the water is boiling, so we need to drive our Akplɛ. Yes, it nearly got bad. It's not, adding cold water to Akplɛ is not advisable, guys. I actually added it because the portion that I made first wasn't going to be enough for me. Yes, because I really miss this recipe a lot from my granny, and I would always make it once in a while, just to remember her. So, and this is how she just does it, simple, especially days that we don't go to the farm and then we don't have bush meats or ingredients and all that, and then we are doing all these management things at home, and it's a village, so it was simple. So at this point, I think my Akplɛ is almost done. After adding the water and then cooking it a bit, I'm going to cover it for a while, make it, when you cover it for a while before you start tearing it, makes it much more firmer. So I think, oh yeah, I covered it already. So at this point, I'm going to just be taking them out. Then you can get yourself a wrapper, a food safety wrapper. I don't think this one is safe enough. Yes, but then this is what I have available now. So, but you can decide to use leaves, cocoyam leaves, banana leaves and all that to wrap it. Yes, so now let's put the okra and onion and pepper on fire. It started to boil. So at this point, I'm only going to cover it for a while. After a while, and then now I'll just pick the garlic out of it and then grind. So after I take the garlic, I'll come and take the rest and then grind all together. So at this point, let's enjoy the cooking. So if I need to say something, if I need to talk at any point, I'm just going to chip in. So let's go. At this point, I'm going to just grind the remaining things all together. Alright. So we see how this soup is. So with this soup, everything happens in the earthenware or the clay bowl that you see. Everything happens in the, we don't put it on fire again. As soon as it gets on fire, that's it. So let's watch till the end. So I'm pouring the remaining things I'm going to grind in the bowl, and then I can put the beef and then the fish on fire. Yes, so at this point I'm just going to add water, add onion, add a little bit of salt, and then stock cube to it. So I didn't add too much salt because there's already salt in this particular meat. I don't know if it's I think it's also a cured meat with salt, or it's just a salted meat. Yeah, and this cost me 40 cents. So one for 20 cents, one for 20 cents. So I'm telling you, this food, I cooked this food with $2.50, and I'm not lying. Yes, because back those days in the village, with that money you could actually cook something to eat with family. Yeah, and then even the corn flour that I bought, it's not all that I use. Right, I can use that in some other time. So if 2 cents is even like too much for this, because I use like quarter of the corn flour. Yeah. So at this point, let's add the onion, let's grind everything together, and let's see how it goes. If you are lazy, you wouldn't know how to cook this particular part, because at this point there's nothing like blending. When you're making Fetri Toto, there's nothing like blending. You can't blend it. Blending makes the whole thing a different recipe. There's no flavor in that. Yes, I mean, you can't even blend Fetri Toto. Who blends Fetri Toto? I'm going to add the salted fish to it. I'm going to grind everything together, for me to get the flavor of that fish anytime I dig in the soup. So now it's getting to the consistency that we want. I had so many nostalgic moments during this preparation. I missed my great grandma a lot. Yes, people say they miss their grandma, they miss their grandpa and all that. I think I missed my great grandma a lot. Apparently, I stayed with her, and she's been so good. She's been nothing but great to me. So yeah, At this point, you can decide to add the fish to the soup like that, or if you want to cook it, but I decided to cook it a little bit, so I'm going to add it to the already boiling meat on fire, so it cooks with it, and then I just add it to my soup. This soup is already done, as you are seeing it here. You're not going to add it, you're not going to put it on fire again. We're just going to add the remaining ingredients, and then we are done. That's all. At this point, let's check on the meat. Let's add the fish now, and then we are going to cover it and allow it to boil. We're going to allow it to boil really nice, and then after that, we can now bring it down and pour it on our soup, and then we are done. This is exactly how I want it to be. This is exactly how I want it to be. So at this point, it's done. Yes, all the water is drained. Not really, but then half of it is gone. So at this point, we can add it to our okra. So you see, I didn't add any salt and anything to the okra while I was grinding it. So all the salt and everything packed inside this fish and meat soup or whatever. So I'm just going to add that to it, and then this is it. We are done. You don't need anything again. Yes, you don't need anything else. So at this point, I'm just going to add the akplɛ, and then I give it a taste. And then when I tasted it, oh God, I missed this one so much. It was great. I just remember this point he would just be calling me, and she, my name is Nanayao. So, and then the airways, they call me Ayao. So you should just be shouting, Ayao, Ayao, come and let's eat. And I miss her so much. So yeah, that was it. Thank you guys for staying with me. I shall see you on my next video. Bye.